What's up, everybody? It's Glenn back with Big Jack, back with another Best Bets of the NFL weekend video. We're early this week. We're recording on Wednesday in advance of a happy Thanksgiving to all of our fans out there. Uh, we're going to be traveling for Thanksgiving, as many people do, and it's just easier for us to make this video today. Not to mention that there are four games between Thanksgiving and Friday, so maybe there's a chance that one of us hop in on that action. Last week, Big Jack goes 2-1, keeps riding momentum, increases his season record to 19-14 overall, right about 58% for his pick rate, success rate, win rate. Uh, I had a down week. I went 1-2 last week. My record moves to 18-11-4, still about 62% on the season. Big Jack, we got some great records. How you feeling heading into this Thanksgiving and Week 12 slate?
Yeah, feeling good coming off a 2-1 week. Like you said, overall in the season, we're both in a pretty solid spot. They say 52% to be profitable, 55% to be to be professional. So we're both trending above that margin and just gotta keep it moving down the stretch. We got a long ways to go. But like we talk about pretty much every week, hopefully as the season moves on, you are able to know teams and rely on certain things a little bit more. Should be less and less guesswork. But like last week, you had that Chargers pick. You think a Chargers team who's starting to play a little better and they got some playoff aspirations, and then they go out and lose to a sort of bad Packers team. So it's still sports gambling. It's still the greatest reality show in the world. A lot of unpredictability, but just got to do our best to stack some 2-1 weeks and keep it rolling.
Spot on, man. You think you know these teams, and there's a reason they play the games. But yeah, it'd be great to stack a 2-1 week this week, keep that momentum rolling. With that being said, let's maybe get right into the picks this week. I'll go with my first pick. It is a team coming off a bye, a team that has some playoff aspirations, although the AFC is tough. I'm gonna go with the Indianapolis Colts -2.5 versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Indy at home at Lucas Oil. Like I said, coming off a bye, uh, with a first year head coach, it's always interesting to see how they're going to be off the bye. That being said, I do think Steichen does have something to him, and I do think that coming off that bye against that Bucks team that is feisty, but I don't think they're quite the team we thought they were earlier in the season, where we thought like maybe they were a legitimate playoff threat. I think they're a little less than that. I'll take the Colts with covering less than a field goal against the Bucks at home.
I like that one. It was a game I was looking at myself. I'm not on it personally, but I do like that one. Going into the season, I thought the Bucks were going to be, one of the worst teams in the league. I thought they were going to be kind of duking it out with Carolina and Arizona and, some real bottom feeders. They started off a lot more competitive than I imagined because that defense was pretty solid and they've sort of faded since then. But Baker's played decent. They've been like competitive. But yeah, I don't think they're very good. And like you said, with the Colts coming off a bye in the heat of that playoff race, I think that's a pretty sound pick for them to go down there and win by a field goal, or I should say, at home, they'll win by a field goal. My first pick is a game I'm just going to get out of the way because I don't feel great about it, but for whatever reason, I can't turn away from it. I kind of touched on it last week about how I thought about this team going forward. I'm going to go with the Bills again on the road at Philadelphia. It's +3. It's pretty much even money. Rivers just has these weird lines, man. They never have like normal -110, like pay the big juice. It's literally Bills +3 -104. So I don't know, close to even money. Might just be a signal that it's going to shift towards that 3.5 eventually. But I'll take the board now. I'll take the Bills +3. They obviously looked great last week against a sort of slipping Jets organization who just named some guy who had the worst college career ever that's somehow in the NFL is going to be their starter. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I really like the Bills. I said it last week. I think they're, in my eyes, very similar to those Bengals teams the past couple years, where yeah, they're middling, they're right about 500 this time of year, and then all of a sudden they take off, kind of win out down the stretch, never look back, and are serious Super Bowl contenders. I don't know. I love the Bills going into the year. Maybe that bias is still playing quite a bit of a factor, in my opinion, of them, but I just think they're good. Their point differential is insane. Yeah, they're 6-5 or whatever, but their point differential is like over plus 100. I just think they're a really good football team who has slumped at times throughout the season, and now they know it's full throat going forward. Hopefully, the Eagles have been winning a lot. They've got one loss, but they haven't played great. They looked not very good. Granted, it was against a good, solid Chiefs team, a really good Chiefs defense. And if it wasn't for that drop pass with MVS, that game's probably a little different down the stretch. But either way, I feel like the Eagles are going to be riding a high of a big win on the road in Kansas City. Maybe they take their foot off the gas a little bit. I don't know. I like the Bills to win that game, so I'll take the 3 points.
Yeah, I think you're spotting a good potential letdown spot for the Eagles. Obviously, they're going to respect the Bills. Everybody knows what the Bills are capable of. But coming off that big win against the Chiefs, you see Sirianni basically storming off and celebrating in the tunnel. That's an emotional high for them as a team there. I could see them letting down against the Bills at home. All right, my second pick of the week. Going with the worst team in football. I know you were on them last week. I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers plus 3.5 at Tennessee. Um, I hope they stay within the number. It's a gross game. Um, I don't think many people are going to be watching it, but I'm gonna go with Carolina plus 3.5. Hope that Bryce Young protects that football, can move the football a little bit. Hopefully, Carolina can have some success against a Tennessee team that is a little bit in a, I don't know if it's like a complete rebuild, but we'll call it maybe a restructuring of their roster and how they do things. Carolina plus 3.5 at Tennessee. That's my second
I It's tough, man. I'm not on Tennessee. It's just tough for me to back
pick.
Carolina. I was like you said, I was on them last week. I was on them a couple weeks ago when they did cover, but dude, they're just so bad. I watched that game against the Cowboys on Sunday. Um, yeah, it was on the same time the Bears were playing, so it was more secondary screen, but like, it's football. There's you could watch two games pretty easily. It's not like it's that fast paced. But dude, they had four stops in the first half where they should have got off the field on third down and got personal fouls, and not like you're like, oh, this is some BS, that's a weak call. Like, just like they were for sure penalties. Like, I just like bonehead, like stupid ass plays. So I don't know. Carolina, I'm very jaded by currently. Bryce Young just can't move the ball. He's thrown just as many touchdowns to the other team as he has to his own team. It's tough to watch. You know, like I said, a little jaded off of what I saw last Sunday, but yeah, I think it's a interestingly tight number, and the Titans aren't very good either, so maybe they go down there and cover it. I don't know. My next pick, I'm gonna actually take a Thanksgiving Day game.
Okay.
I'm gonna take once again. I'm gonna go against the Cowboys. We were just touching on it. I'm gonna take the Commanders plus 12 and a half on the road. They just lost to the Giants, looked horrible. The Giants just lost by 100 to the Cowboys the week prior. I think a lot of people are looking at that short week home game for the Cowboys. Dak is sort of rolling, teams rolling in general, beating everybody by 20 plus points week in and week out. Commanders obviously coming off a week where they looked terrible. A lot of negative vibes around that team. Ever since the trade deadline, they kind of sold off a few pieces. I just think they moved the ball. I think Sam Howell has had a couple bad games this year where he's had some high turnover numbers, and he's sort of shown the ability to bounce back and kind of not really let it affect him going into the next week. I'm hoping that's the case this week. I think they keep it tight, they keep it competitive. You know, Thanksgiving national spot, those games always do huge numbers. You know, I'm not a big believer at all in things being fixed. And, you always see it from the side that you're betting on. You kind of always see certain angles about calls going for you or against you. I don't think things are fixed in general, but I do kind of like a national Thanksgiving game in Dallas where I feel like they're going to want to keep eyes on the game, and it's going to be a little more competitive. So I like the Commanders to keep it tight, 12.5. I'll take the points.
I'm glad you're on a Thanksgiving game. I'm not. I tell your picks that you put out on the show, so it's nice to know I'll have a little bit of action. I will say the one area of concern for me in this game, not that I'm on it, but the one area of concern to me would be that Washington O line trying to block that Dallas D line, especially on the interior.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But I do have some. I I kind of believe in Sam Howell as like the Commanders guy. I don't know if you're there, but
Mhm.
he kind of. I think he's an NFL quarterback, man. I think he's good. All right.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
My third pick. I don't know how the Patriots are favored against anybody on the road. Patriots 3-point favorites at New York Giants. I'm on the Patriots. Uh, it is Belichick. It is a young quarterback that at times looks like a deer in headlights out there. I'm gonna bet on the Patriots here. I'm gonna pray that Belichick's not in on the tank, and that the Patriots go to New York Giants, cover those 3 points. Uh, New England Patriots -3 at the New York Giants. That's my third pick of the week.
Do you know, is Bailey Zappi starting or is it still Mac Jones?
I have no idea. I will say I think Mac Jones is getting a raw deal up in New England. I don't really care who starts this game. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I don't think they have a lot of help around the quarterbacks out there. But I kind of hope Mac Jones gets a second chance somewhere else. Some of the things I'm seeing personally.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was pretty good as a rookie.
Rookie, yep.
And then, their team is just bad. Their offensive line is probably the one of the worst in the league, if not the worst. And they certainly don't have a lot of weapons for him. So I agree. And they've had a weird shift of like, yeah, they had McDaniel his rookie year, and then they didn't even like have an offensive coordinator last year, and then now they
Then they
bring
had like
in Bill
Patricia, right?
O'Brien. It was like Patricia and Judge, who
Yeah,
were
really
both
weird.
like
Special teams and D
the
coordinator.
Lions coach fired and the Giants coach fired, and Belichick brings them back and gives them this weird like dual title. I don't know, whatever. We don't need to dissect that organization the last couple of years, but yeah, I think it's a sound pick, like you said. Not really sure why they'd be favored on the road. I guess the Giants are horrible, and that Cowboys game is still probably pretty fresh in everybody's mind, even though credit to them, like they sort of handled the Commanders over the weekend. So I don't know about that one. Um, the last game, I'm sort of debating between a few. There's, a lot of lines that are like seem like trap lines. So, they kind of like, I kind of look at like the Houston Jaguars game and kind of think, that's too easy. I bet the or the Houston covers. I kind of look at like Cleveland, Denver, Cincinnati, and the Steelers. There's like a few tight numbers like that, but I'm going to stay away from them all. I'm not going to get suckered into any square play, and I'm not just going to go against the grain because that's typically what I like to do in those situations. I'm going to stick to Thanksgiving. Actually,
Oh
I
wow.
called this team a house of I called this team a house of cards in our Bears video last week. The Detroit Lions. I think they are a house of cards. I think Jared Goff sucks. At times, and he certainly did against the Bears. Um, but I'm going to take him this week. I'm taking the Lions -7.5. at home against the Packers on Thanksgiving. National spot for them. They're 8-2. I think similarly to how they sort of rode the Broncos have ridden the wave of that crazy comeback against the Bears. I think Cowboys got a lot of, or excuse me, the Lions got a lot of momentum off of that collapse by the Bears. They're at home, trying to show the national spot that there are something to be reckoned with. I think the Packers are a even worse team, and they just, go into Ford Field and sort of get pushed around. I think that early game is going to be a drumming. I'll take the Lions minus a 7.5.
I love that you're on Thanksgiving, man. It's gonna make it for a fun Thursday. But all right. To recap real quick, the picks this week. Me coming off a 1-2 week last week. This week I got Panthers plus 3.5 at Tennessee, Colts minus 2.5 versus Tampa Bay, and the New England Patriots -3 at the New York Giants. Jack coming off a 2-1 week last week is on Buffalo +3 at Philadelphia this week. Washington plus 12.5 at Dallas, and Detroit -7.5 versus Green Bay. I have officially locked in all our picks. Parlay will be created next, and I'm looking forward to celebrating on Sunday with a nice addition to the bank account. Big Jack, any last words for our fans this Thanksgiving?
Yeah, man. Depending on how Thanksgiving goes, we'll just pretend that those Thursday picks never happened, maybe, and I'll just draw up two more for Sunday. But or we'll be 2-0 heading into Sunday, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. It's one of the better holidays, especially as you get older. You get to that point where like growing up, Christmas is always awesome, but now it's like you got to like get people presents and stuff, and it's a little more stressful around that time of year. But Thanksgiving's great. You just get a few days off of work, hopefully get some good food, some good time with family and friends, and hopefully some good football. So everyone enjoy it, and hopefully it's profitable as well.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to all you guys at home. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tune in to our Bears video as well. And until next time, Jack, hit it for him one time.
Bears.